As a parent, you probably had that nagging feeling inside that something maybe isn't quite right. It might be with your child, with your baby, despite the pediatrician insisting that everything is normal. I've been there. This was true with my first son. Maybe it's a way they struggle to sleep unless they're held. Perhaps it's just the fussiness that extends beyond that, typical newborn behavior or toddler emotions. Maybe it's those digestive issues that, they're just as missing as, normal baby stuff. They need, certain things to help the gut, gripe water, more comfort. It's okay to trust that parental intuition that that's actually right, that those subtle signs are actually indicators of hidden neurological stress. Now, according to research published in the Journal of American Osteopathic Association, long word, AOA, an astonishing 99% of newborns, even those considered perfectly healthy, show some signs of somatic dysfunction, meaning muscular neurodysfunction within their brain and nervous system. This hidden stress isn't just causing temporary discomfort. It actually could be laying the groundwork for future health challenges. So today we're going to talk about this. We're going to explore why 40% of children now suffer from at least one chronic health condition and how to address the hidden neurological stress early on. That could be the key to breaking this troubling trend. Because if you're seeing as a mom, trust your gut, there may be more going on. Now, to really dig into this, we have to understand what we call the perfect storm that's creating these hidden stress in our babies, in our young ones, in our toddlers. Now, the perfect storm refers to a cascade of stressors that begin early in life, and they can set the table for neurological dysfunction in babies and toddlers. Now, this typically begins during pregnancy, when a mom's experiencing chronic stress, causing hormones like cortisol that cross the placenta and impact the developing baby's nervous system. It gets them stuck in this fight or flight response, and that directly correlates to baby. Now, research published in Science Direct shows that maternal stress during pregnancy can actually alter the development of baby's nervous system or brain, creating a foundation for that neurocommunication dysfunction even before birth occurs. So then the birth process itself, while natural, can also create significant physical stress for newborns. And this stress is often magnified by common interventions like C-sections, forceps, vacuum extraction. All of that assistance is so stressful for babies. So when birth interventions happen, it provides this stress that sometimes we don't even see. So in all the checkbox and all the forms that the pediatricians are looking at, that the professionals are looking at, they're not seeing what you're seeing, mom, and they're not looking deeper to say, hey, maybe there was some deeper stress. Now, I want to dig a little bit deeper into how birth interventions create this neurological dysfunction, because we call this the perfect storm, and oftentimes it's the missing link that we don't look at because we're not looking this deep. Now, C-sections obviously bypass that natural compression sequence that helps with contractions and prepare a baby's nervous system for life outside the room. So that's oftentimes the simple one that people see, right? They don't want to have a C-section, and then that can be more birth traumatic on both mom and baby, and that can lead to more neurological stress. The other one that's very interesting is forceps and vacuum extraction. Those apply significant forces to a baby's delicate head and neck with extension and compression, causing the brainstem and the vagus nerve to be out of proper alignment. Now, these physical challenges often lead to what we call as chiropractors subluxation. That's areas of neurological interference that disrupt the communication between the brain and the body. Now, there's subtle signs that I want you to look for as parents that we should watch if we've had this stress sequence build up and then a difficult birth. A lot of times we'll see these manifested in sleep challenges, difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, being restless, only sleeping when they're held, on mom or dad, or in motion. These aren't just normal baby things, but potential indicators of the nervous system struggling a bit and being stuck more in that stress mode. You might see feeding difficulties, a poor latch, excessive spit up, reflux, becoming easily distracted during feeds, not being able to take a full feed or eat enough calories. That can all be from neurological stress as well. On the lower end, we see it with digestive issues, constipation, excessive gas, colic, excessive crying for more than 3 hours a day, during that witching hour every single day. Those often indicate that the vagus nerve and what goes on up here with that nervous system is struggling. You can also see physical asymmetries. If a baby's struggling to turn their head to the left or the right, if there's flattening on one side of the head, that can be a sign that they went through a more difficult birth and that there's stress on the brain and nervous system. This even goes into the sensory sensitivities when kids get older. When they're younger, oftentimes it's the excessive startle reflex. It can be irritability from stimulating environments. But when they get older, it's often the difficulty calming when they're overstimulated from too much noise, too much lights, too much input. All of these things show that even if they started out fully healthy and got full clean checks and health, that there may be a struggle in their nervous system. Now, here's why a lot of times this is missed. Standard pediatric care right now focuses primarily on measuring the growth and checking for visible illness and monitoring major developmental milestones. It's almost like a checklist. It doesn't look for these subtle signs of neurological dysfunction. In fact, you probably heard from your pediatrician quite a bit that they'll grow out of it, right? Well, and the conventional approach there is we're going to wait and see. We'll address symptoms with medications when they become severe enough to warrant intervention, but we're not looking at all these things that add up that lead to the bigger things. We're not going after the root cause. Now, this approach often leads to caring for symptoms without addressing that root cause. So then the nervous system actually starts to compound over time, and you see more a perfect storm of all of these stressors. Now, why I love being a neurologically focused chiropractor is because you can help address this hidden stress. Neurologically focused chiropractic, it offers a really gentle approach to this. Addressing hidden stress with babies, with adjustments, with extremely light pressure. Here's what's cool about it with babies. It's about the same amount of pressure you'd put on a contact lens or to check a tomato's ripeness. Gentleness is key because the nervous system is gentle. It needs calming input, especially if it's struggling with colic, with fussiness, with crying, with reflux. All these things are amping it up. You have to be gentle to calm it down. And that's why neurologically focused chiropractors are trained to do. We also do advanced insight scans. Those objectively measure the nervous system's overall function. They detect subluxations or stress that you oftentimes can't see on a little baby. And they look for those deeper patterns that we call dysautonomia that would be missed in a standard pediatric growth weight chart exam. By addressing these subluxations and just proper nervous system function and really digging deeper than just that growth, height, and the weight chart, it helps us really focus on the overall system. Babies can become more resilient. The nervous system balance then is going to lead them to having high efficiency in every which way and not getting jammed up just based on a symptom or based on a measurement. It's okay for you to trust those parental instincts. Here's what's so key is a lot of times if you're watching this video and you're this far in, you have gone to every practitioner, you have done everything, and it all matters. And oftentimes they're not connecting the dots for you. And so it's okay for you to connect those dots and know that your intuition is right, that those subtle signs are actually indicators of a bigger neurological stress pattern. And we want to show you that. So if you're feeling that way today, that you're feeling like you need to connect the dots or a neurological chiropractor to connect the dots for you, click on our link. As a parent, you've probably had that nagging feeling before that something isn't quite right. Trust your gut, and we are absolutely here to help.